This is how to decrease symptoms that you're experiencing during perimenopause or menopause, and they will also help you to lose body fat. Hey, I'm Priscilla. I'm your Houston, Texas nurse, and I'm going to help you take action today for a healthier tomorrow. The number one thing that is happening in making symptoms worse for women going through these stages of life is insulin resistance. Insulin resistance makes the symptoms of menopause worse. What are those symptoms? Hot flashes, abdominal weight gain, low energy, sugar cravings, poor sleep, and a lot more. If you are trying to lose weight or to improve your life in ways that worked 10, 20, 30 years ago, it's likely not helping you today. It might actually be making things worse. Here are some things that you can do that will decrease symptoms in your life by decreasing insulin resistance. And it just seems like most people I talk to who are trying to decrease these symptoms, they're also struggling with weight gain. So it will help you to lose weight as well. So how do we decrease insulin resistance? The number one thing and the biggest shift that you need to make is you need to focus on nourishing your body rather than restricting calories. And I know this is not what you think you need to be doing in the midst of having a fat loss goal, but the reality is this will help you lose fat. It's how my clients lose fat, improve cholesterol, build muscle. What do I mean by nourishing your body? You need to make sure that your plates, your meals contain sufficient protein, fat, fiber, and nutrient-dense carbohydrates. Nutrient-dense carbohydrates are foods such as starchy vegetables, potatoes, beans, lentils, peas, fruits, even like whole grain pastas or oats if you tolerate those well. If you do not consume enough of these nutrient-dense carbohydrates, you will not have the energy needed to do the next step. The next step is you need to stay physically active and build muscle. The reason I say both is a lot of people overemphasize the building muscle aspect, in my opinion. You also need to have good cardiovascular health. And so if you are not getting enough nutrient-dense carbohydrates, it will prevent you from having the energy necessary to build muscle and to go for that 20, 30, 45-minute walk that you need to be doing. When it comes to movement to decrease these symptoms, I would look at two avenues for you. Number one is to make sure that you are getting at least 150 minutes per week of zone 2 cardio. Zone 2 cardio is cardio where your heart rate gets up, but you're still able to carry a conversation. I wouldn't get too hung up on the numbers and parameters or things like that. Just know that you're moving your body. It's low stress movement, okay? A great way to accomplish this is through your daily movement. Steps, walking, things like that. And then the other aspect is building muscle. Building muscle requires you to be consistent. And that's why I created this other video, how to build muscle as you age, because I think people completely overcomplicate it. You need to do progressive overload, and you need to pair it with workouts that you love doing. Movement promotes muscle growth. A sedentary life promotes muscle loss. This will decrease insulin resistance in your life because the more muscle mass that you have, the less insulin resistant you are. And the reason is that our muscles literally use glucose. They take the glucose from our bloodstream and use it. The other aspect is that muscles send out myokines. So when you use your muscles, they release myokines. These myokines travel to every organ in our body and they decrease inflammation. They even travel to our gut and they help with insulin resistance. They travel to our pancreas and they help insulin resistance. So if we reap a reward from using muscle, wouldn't it mean that we would reap an even greater reward if we had more muscle? Absolutely. You need to make sure that you are doing workouts that you love, getting in that zone 2 cardio, and building muscle. There's other aspects too that you could be doing that I do for my clients when it's the right time, and those are things like interval training, things like that. But for a good foundation, make sure it's the zone 2 cardio and building muscle. The third thing you need to make sure that you're doing is that you are decreasing chronic stress in your life. Stress can be work, but stress can also be nutrient deficiencies. It can also be psychological stress from your day-to-day life. There are so many things that can lead to stress in our lives. And so you need to make sure that you are controlling what you can control. If your stress level currently, if you think of a jar, if your day-to-day life fills that jar to the brim of like 99%, make sure that your lifestyle choices, such as your approach to nutrition and movement, aren't adding so much to that jar that it's overflowing, because then you really won't hit your goals and you'll actually exacerbate the symptoms you're experiencing. Chronic stress increases cortisol. One of the reasons people get cortisol belly is because they are chronically stressed, and cortisol increases glucose, and that increase in glucose doesn't change. It leads to insulin resistance unless you learn to decrease that stress in your life. So control what you can control. Don't let your approach to nutrition or movement be a source of stress. One example of that is maybe you've heard that intermittent fasting is really good for insulin resistance. It sure is. It has a lot of health benefits in my opinion. However, it is not right for everyone all the time. It is not right for everyone all the time. Why? It increases cortisol. It is a source of stress to go long periods of time without eating. You will not automatically be unhealthy if you don't do intermittent fasting. If you are not seeing sustained results from it, it's because it's not right for you right now. You can decrease insulin resistance without doing intermittent fasting, and most of my female clients do by eating a really good nutrient-dense breakfast. As a reminder, if you stop eating at 7 p.m. at night and eat breakfast at 7 in the morning, that's still a 12-hour fast. You're doing great. So go easy on those things. And then the final thing that I would say that can help to decrease, or I specifically have seen decrease symptoms for women, especially when it comes to sleep and hot flashes. A lot of my clients who deal with that is to supplement wisely. My clients, I offer a hair tissue mineral analysis, and this looks at the minerals in soft tissue, which our hair is soft tissue. Our minerals are stored in soft tissue. So while we want our blood levels to be normal, it's not a true reading of if someone's deficient in magnesium, for example. And so the two supplements that have been really beneficial for most of my clients, and this is also recommended by Laura Bryden, she's a women's hormone specialist as well. You might have heard of, she recommends, and I do too, as a result of that, magnesium and taurine. Magnesium helps in so many ways, whether you're in this stage of life or not, but a magnesium deficiency leads to insulin resistance, and most people are deficient in magnesium. I would recommend supplementing with it before you go to bed. Magnesium glycinate is the best form. You could also take it in the morning and at night. But again, just so you know, if you don't tolerate magnesium glycinate very well, you might need a different form. Just so you hear that. Pair the magnesium that you take at night with something called taurine. Taurine is an amino acid found in protein, but many women become deficient in it as they age. And this deficiency can lead to poor sleep and more insulin resistance. I have seen really great benefits from women who are my clients when they pair magnesium and taurine at night, specifically if they were dealing with hot flashes and other things like that. Hope that's helpful. Those are just 4 tips. If you have more questions or want to hear more about the specific phase of life for you or any questions in that realm, please comment below and take care.